What's going on, crypto world? Man, the last 24 hours has been aching me because of Terareum. This project had so much potential, and from their first Twitter space, I jumped on and saw the potential of this project, and I started jumping on voluntarily and doing Twitter spaces left and right to push this project. We had two guys in India who came out with a great plan to bring out an exchange and give folks an opportunity that we've never had before in the crypto space to be part of an exchange. And maybe they never would have become as big as Binance or Coinbase or Kraken, Gate.io, any of those. But just the chance to be part of an exchange was such a big plan that we all rallied behind that idea. And slowly it started to unravel. The Binance thing, to me, was a huge mistake, but it wasn't enough to kill the project. We still felt like they're human beings. They got duped. They can make mistakes. They can recover from it. It's still early in the project. As long as they're still dedicated, we're still good. So I kept a lot of people from jumping ship on spaces, on DMs, telling them, hey, I'm still here. I got a lot of money in it. I'm still here. So let's hold on. Let's just see what they're going to do. You know, you got to give people a chance, and you got to give them a chance to mess up too, because we're humans. That's going to happen. So we got duped with Binance. The only problem I had with that was stepping forward as a leader and accepting we got duped. That never happened. Until now, Milton would never accept to open his mouth and say, yeah, we were pretty naive to believe it was Binance that early on, so we did get scammed, and hopefully we'll learn from that and can't get caught in something like that again. You'll never hear that from him. That's where the apparent arrogance started coming out. We started to realize we might have an issue. But Dr. Ramana is such a great human being and has such a great personality that he's able to calm situations. He's able to get you to refocus on the real issues at hand. And the real issue is that this brand new project coming out, giving us a chance to be part of something major, is enough for us to overlook certain things and move forward. Once they made Dr. Ramana take a back seat, then they really started to unravel, because the community really started to stop believing then. Now, I decided to sell all my holdings in Terareum and moved on. And a lot of community members, Victor Pina, IB Blunt, Firefighter, to mention the main ones, started acting like goons from Saitama, that we knew how we lost a lot of people in Saitama because of the behaviors of goons. Now Terareum became that goon community of people going after people for leaving a project. All right? Even though then a lot of people decided to hold on because they didn't buy into people. They bought into a project that promised something, and they were going to give them the chance. Terrapool launched July 4th. Never saw anything on Terrapool, even though several projects tried to launch in there. They never got any communication and moved on. That made it evident that Terrapool was not functioning or whatever, because who wouldn't be excited to reach out to companies that want to launch on your project? Okay, they said Austin was lying about MetaMonkey, but then what is it? Deconnect or whatever. Tried also, got nowhere. There was a school superintendent that wanted to do a fundraiser, got nowhere. So it was clear Terapool was just a joke. But let's look past all that. It's still a great project. Everybody wants to make money, and no matter where their money is, as long as they're not in the negative, they're not leaving because they're going to wait and see. I think what broke the camel's back on this project is now they're coming out with Terapay. Now, from January to August, what excited me and what I told everybody that was exciting about Terareum was that the one token they have was going to be the native token for everything Terareum. No matter what they came out with, that is what was going to run the whole ecosystem. Now, no matter how they want to sell that Terapay is still under Terareum and all this nonsense, Terapay could have came out as just a utility. Terapay doesn't need to come out and actually be a token where you're going to be selling, well, you're trying to sell 5,000 ETH of a token. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Why would you want to sell people a new token and take money away from Terareum? The folks that are holding Terareum, how are they going to see all-time high ever again if now you're selling them a whole new token? If Terapay were to raise that $6.5 million that they're trying to raise, how much of those millions could have ended up under Terareum and given these people some value on the token that they've been holding since February 21st, and if they're pre-sale, since even before that? So as a CEO, Milton, as a senior advisor, Dr. Praveen, and it looks like the new website only has 3 faces on it, Dr. Praveen, Milton, and RD. So I don't know what happened to Dr. Romana, what happened to Dr. Willman, if they're no longer part of the project, because no matter what you're bringing, if it's under the same ecosystem, it's the same team. How do the rest get paid if they're not getting paid from this new utility? I don't know. To me, it looks like Terapay is a migration or a V2 of Terareum. That's how I look at it. But there's zero communication, so everybody's making assumptions, right? Now, my biggest thing is, if you're doing something and you see all the pushback, just like when old guy Dave told them having the marketing wallet in the native token is a bad idea because every time you sell, you'll dump on the community, I would have thought Terareum would notice all this pushback they're getting on Terapay, and instead of trying to bring it out as a token, they would go back to the drawing board and bring it out as a utility under Terareum with no token attached to it. Bring it as a utility so everybody who still believe in this project can continue to believe in the project. Nobody needs to tell anybody to run from the project, but they need to understand, if you're holding something and they're depleting the value of it, what are you holding to? Terareum is now dead once Terapay comes out and becomes the new token that people are focusing on. So I'm no longer part of Terareum. I have no reason to speak on Terareum. But because I took it upon myself from January to August to peddle this token as a great project, I'm taking it upon myself to put this video on Twitter so folks could know that if they lose money on this project later on down the road, if it goes nowhere, Dr. Crypto, who was representing it on his own from January to August, is clearly telling them, move on. If you stay and they don't change anything about Terapay and you lose all your money, at least take ownership of that you decided to stay with it. It's nobody's decision whether you need to buy, sell, or move on from a project. but you need to be able to make a wise decision in every investment you get involved in. And as soon as things don't look like they're working the way they promised, that might be the time for you to make a decision. Evaluate every project you get into from time to time. I say every 90 days. And see, is this still what I believed in from day one? And at any point in time, the answer is no. That's when you sell. You all have a nice day.